Welcome in. I'm Jamie Rivers from Rivs and BK on 101 ESPN, and this is my Grillin' at Home with 101. If you're wondering about the setting, well, my good buddy BK and my co-host, he had to do his show from his father-in-law's, so guess what? I decided we're a team. I'm going to do the same thing, so I am over at my father-in-law's, who's been so nice to let me come in here and ruin his backyard with my grilling skills. So today on the menu, we're gonna have what I call our Stanley Cup Skewers. And of course, we're gonna have a little corn on the cup, if you know what I'm talking about. I went and saw our good friends over at Schnucks. They provided everything possible for me, as well as our Budweiser here, who obviously we know why they're the king of beers. All right, the secret to what I call Stanley Cup Skewers is the marinade. And this is how we do it. First of all, I want you to get a pen and a paper at home because you're gonna wanna write down this recipe because it is sensational. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm turning my hat backwards and get into grill mode. To which, by the way, if you don't have sauce on you, you're not doing it right. First thing we're gonna do, we have a third cup of olive oil. We're gonna take that bad boy, put it right in here. Next on the menu is our soy sauce. Now, soy sauce to me is a nice added touch of salt without actually pouring the whole container of salt into it. So soy sauce goes in. Next, we got the Worcestershire sauce. Now, you know how they got that name, right? A guy in Massachusetts, his wife made a sauce one time and he went, "Hey, what's this here sauce?" Exactly. So that goes in here right now. Garlic powder going into the mix. A half teaspoon of white pepper, which is hard to find in here. So what you want to do is tap it in there. A half a tablespoon of parsley flakes. These are good for the marinade. You got to be careful afterwards, though. You'll get them in your teeth. The lemon and the hot sauce. I personally like to go with about 4-5 dabs. Again, it's personal choice. If you like it a little spicier, you may want to hold that a little bit longer. You get a lemon. This one here apparently might be on steroids. I'm not sure. But you want to take it and you want to roll it out on your table because it gets the juices inside and it breaks up the middle. Now, tip number 2 for this is when you just squeeze it over, the seeds will get all inside the marinade. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. So you get it, hold the lemon upside down, hold your hand over it. Of course, your hands are washed, they've been cleaned before. Squeeze into your hand, and then we just let it go down into the marinade. That's half one. See that? Look, it held the seeds out. That's why we do that. We get the whisk, and we want to whip it up here. Olive oil is thick, right? So you want to make sure you really get a good stir in here. Really stir it up good. So once we get it to a nice consistency here, you're ready to pour your marinade onto your meat. You want to make sure you get it in there overnight because you want to get it sink in and work in all the great flavors. So what you do is you have your partner come over here, and you know what, by the way, I'm going to call in my father-in-law, who's the king of this castle here. Gary, come on in here to the shot. We'll have my partner Gary over here. He's the man. And in a normal setting, he would hold that bag open and we pour it in, right? Now, we already marinated, so we're gonna do TV stuff really fast like they do on the Food Network. Now, what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you work that marinade into your meat. You really wanna work your meat, unless your father-in-law is standing right beside you. Now, you let it rest overnight and you're ready to go. Next step is the fun step. Take our metal skewer. I always like to go vegetable first, which this time is mushrooms, Gary. You know the problem with mushrooms is? They shrink on the grill, just like a cold day. Anyways, we go 2 mushrooms, and then we gotta get into our meat here. I got it at Schnucks. The butcher cut it for me himself. Actually helped me cut it into these little pieces. Fantastic guy. All right, so this is what it looks like. In the finished product, we end up with skewers like this, which, by the way, those are Stanley Cup Skewers. Now you're wondering to yourself, well, where's this corn on the cup, right? Well, we got it. Cooking tip number 2. When you're doing corn on the cup, you wanna grill these with the husk on it. You put them in water first. You soak them in the water, let them sit about an hour, hour and a half, Gare?
Yep.
All right, yeah, good stuff, by the way. Again, we shake off the water and on the grill it goes. Want to make sure we place them on there, separated just enough, right? Oh, a little sizzle on that one, Gary, watch your fingers. Every 5 minutes, we're gonna rotate that a quarter turn. Now, as Gary gets ready to do his magic over on the gas grill, the one thing I wanna talk to you guys about before we get too far in this, and this is my specialty. This is my what you call your trademark on the skewers. It's the Montreal steak spice, okay? We're gonna do our best here. And because it's, well, I guess we're gonna celebrate Jake Allen and his career with the St. Louis Blues. He's off to Montreal now. So in theme, Montreal steak spice. We're gonna throw a little bit on top. Now we're gonna do this fancy, okay, maybe that's not exactly, we'll just, and a little more for the Stanley Cup action. There we go. So that's how you do it. Maybe not as pretty as you thought it would be. It's a fun time. We get to cook. We get to sit back. Maybe, Gary, maybe we'll enjoy a little bit of the King of Beers ourselves while we manage the corn and while we watch the steak. All right, through the magic of technology and television, we fast forward here and our skewers look sensational. And the best thing you got to do with these is you want to let them rest. You ask yourself, why do you let it rest? Because the juices then lock back into the meat. And also over here, we look at our corn in the husk, no flames, no forest fire. Why? Because we dipped them in water, got some nice grill marks, and what we're going to do is we're going to take them off and set them back over here, and we'll wait for them to cool off, because you don't want to try and peel these things too quickly or you end up with fingers that are really burnt. Let me tell you, not fun. And that's that. That's as easy as it is for you to have your Stanley Cup skewers and your corn on the cup, as we call it. Big thank you to my father-in-law for letting me come out here and helping me out. Also, a huge thank you to our friends over at Schnucks. Without them, none of this is possible. That's right, none of it, including the Budweiser, isn't possible. Who, hey, the king of beers, you have to have it while you're grilling, and you certainly want to have it on a nice sunny day like today. Now we're going to go eat.
All right.
All right, Gareth, we're done. Time for the Budweiser, baby.
That was fun.
Yep.
Did you turn my grill off?
Oh! Oh, thanks, Gareth. Thanks a lot.